We've dated. We've gotten into a relationship. He put a ring on it. We're married. We gotta be vulnerable.
It's about to get real. It's about to get super, super real. All right. So before like I get deep into the married folks, let me just piggyback off of Teray for a second. And she was speaking about risk. And in risk, it's the unknown that makes us really feel like, and I feel like that's why I said a fourth, is because the unknown is just like, okay, what's gonna happen if I do give him this half or this 1/4 or this whatever? So it's a risk that you have to take. And I feel like us being risk takers, that's where our strength is. It's not, you know, like being a coward and just like, oh my God, I don't know, and I'm not gonna do it. No, take the risk, use your womanly strength, take that risk. That way you don't waste your time, and then, you know, you get it over with. So that's all I have to say concerning that, because I feel like risks need to be taken.
So when do you take the risks in marriage?
Okay, so now getting into marriage with me and my husband, I feel like when we entered marriage, I entered, being completely real with you guys, I probably entered 95% vulnerable.
Oh man.
Right?
Okay.
Yes. So I feel like when you've been hurt in the past, it takes a toll on you, where it's just like, okay, you think you're over it, but like there's this little, you know, that little feeling like deep in, where it's just like you still remember that, and now you're thinking, oh, on the wedding day, this is forever. Right? And it's just like, is this man gonna love me forever? Or are we gonna be the 50% divorced? And, you know, that's where praying comes in, and you pray that, you know, your marriage is solidified by God, right? So I feel like I went at 95% because I'm just like, there's one or two things maybe I haven't told him about me. Maybe that he would have judged me. Maybe it would have been a deal breaker. I don't know, but I had to get married first just in case, right? So it's just like things like that. Maybe, I mean, I probably wasn't right. Maybe you should, you know what? You definitely should go in 100% trusting this person and knowing this person, because vulnerability is a key ingredient in trusting and intimate relationships and loving relationships, like especially when you're about to get married. It needs to be there. If it's not there, then it's not whole. You understand? So I feel like when it comes to that, go on 100%, or have the conversation before it happens, because the things I withheld when I did speak to him, they weren't like a big deal, but I thought it was a big deal. It was just something where my husband is very understanding. He's a very understanding man. Make sure
that's my brother.
You get an understanding man that you can sit down sometimes and just have a real good conversation with, because he's supposed to be your best friend anyway. So with that being said, it wasn't a big deal to him. So now I'm in it 100%. I'm like all open, all vulnerable. But what if what you're withholding might be a deal breaker? So don't do like me. Go on 100%. Have that conversation before. When you do your premarital counseling, which you all should take, premarital counseling. When you do that, make sure you have the necessary conversations. Because I even remember in my premarital counseling where Kimmy, shout out to her again, where she would ask questions, and you know, like when you're in a principal's office and you tell like half the truth, but not the whole truth. And I remember telling half truth.
Oh man.
Right? Just so I wouldn't look like I'm the bad one in the relationship, or so I wouldn't look like, you know, just like I'm really withholding something. And so I would tell half the truth, and I mean, like, it wasn't necessary.
When specifically do you need to be vulnerable in marriage?
Okay, so the specific times, well, to me in my marriage, where you would need to be vulnerable is in conversation, right? Speaking the truth, being completely open. Because like I said before, we married the person. There's nothing that we should be withholding from the person that we married. A second example of when you should be completely vulnerable in your marriage, like completely, is in the bedroom. You need to be. Because a guy can tell when you're not completely vulnerable, or you're not completely open to him, especially in intimacy. Because let's say, you know, you guys are getting into it. Imagine when we first start dating and we know already that we're not going to take that next step, how you kind of like withdraw to like give them the idea. It's kind of like that in marriage, because if you're not completely open, there might be signs of withdrawal and he sees it.
And that can probably go into the rest of your marriage too, like outside
exactly.
of the bedroom,
so now he's feeling in his mind, or however guys think, they're just probably thinking like, what's going on? Like, why isn't she open to me? How does she feel about me? This is supposed to be our space. Our bedroom is our space, our domain. And why doesn't she feel completely comfortable with
You
me?
know, because I feel that sex is such a, not only physical, but like a spiritual emotional thing. I feel like subconsciously it can go into other parts and not just in your head and in his head. I mean, I'm not married at all. But yeah, I just feel like that can seep into other places when you're not vulnerable in the bedroom. That's the foundation. So you have to be vulnerable there.
Yeah,
correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you definitely. Because I feel like intimacy is a big part of our marriage. It is. I mean, you know, communication and loving them and all the other good stuff that make up a marriage. But what is it if intimacy isn't there? And what is it if you can't be comfortable? And if you can't do that, then what's going on? And that's a conversation, a truthful conversation that needs to be had also. So
you know what's funny? I always said sex is a conversation. Like,
it is.
so
It is most definitely a conversation. I feel like people shouldn't jump right into it. For the people that are getting married, I feel like express your likes and dislikes, because that's where it can get uncomfortable and where it can get a little bit awkward, because they're going
beforehand, before you get married, express it. Or
no, yeah, I feel like it's a conversation. I know that I just stuttered, but I know that when George and I weren't having sex before marriage, you kind of want to talk about the things that you know you're gonna do, right? Yeah. When, oh my God, I can't wait to get you. So you know, you want to talk about those things. But what if he has like these things planned and you just like, no, you know, like, this is not me. I don't do those kind of things. And then what if he doesn't do certain kind of things in the bedroom? It's a conversation that needs to be had. All you people that are engaged, make sure that you guys are on the same page when it comes to the bedroom, because it's just like, y'all going in, one could be a dominatrix and the next could be, you know, and he's just like, I'm not with this babe. So have the conversation. And you learn about each other. That's the thing about being vulnerable. The first part, conversations. You learn. When you're telling the truth, you learn about the person. And that's what marriage is. There's not one day where I could be like, I know George completely. Right? Because I'm still learning about him. We have conversations. We sit down at the table. We laugh. We kiki. And then something just like, I didn't know this about you. And it's because we're open with each other. We're probably telling each other things from our past that we didn't tell each other. And it's just like, wow, like I didn't really know that about you. And I feel like that's like the joy in marriage. Yeah. Still getting to know your husband. Still learning him every day. And, you know, these things, it just makes the marriage beautiful. A quick thing that I would like to speak on and that I would like to get rid of completely is the stigma on vulnerability, right? And that is that you're weak.
Oh man.
You're not weak because you're vulnerable. That's like saying what you feel is weak. Does that make sense?
Exactly.
That your feelings are weak? Mm-hmm. No, it's what you feel deep down inside, and that's what makes you strong. That you can feel that you're a human being. So let's take the stigma off. It doesn't need to be there. Erase
you know what? Explore that vulnerability.
Exactly.
Explore it so you're comfortable when it's time to be vulnerable, whether you're single or married. Explore it, get to know it, get comfortable with being vulnerable, so that when it's time to do that, you're fine with it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So to conclude everything about the married life, about being vulnerable, about being comfortable, especially coming into this new journey, accept the wholehearted love that your man is going to give you, and give him more and beyond back. And anything in your past that is making you insecure, that is making you second guess anything, that is making you shut in anything, completely erase it. Have those conversations, right? Sit down, be completely honest, have those conversations, and let it go. let it go. And that's another thing, forgiveness. We're probably going to talk about that some other time.
Some other time. But forgiveness, because when those conversations need to be had, if they're a little sticky, forgiveness. And that's what makes our marriage the journey that it is. That's how we last in it, and that's what makes it beautiful. So that's all we have on when to be vulnerable. And we hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment, share with anybody else who needs to see this video.
Talk to us.
Exactly. Comment, join the discussion, help me out. Hello.
That's important because there are people that need to see this video. So it's not just for your eyes. If you know anyone that is going through anything, I feel like this can be helpful.
Exactly.
So share, not because you love us, but share because it's going to help someone.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see you on the next episode, guys. Bye.
Bye.